Fish and Chums!
Hi everybody, Old Gare here with this week's Fish and Chums Fishing Report. We're out here at the old fishing shack. Always good to do a show from the fishing shack. And my buddy Tuffy, God bless you Tuffy, going to be 17 next week. But I have to say, he's had, kind of last week or so, he's had a bad time. And I hope you're going to be around for a while, but I'm kind of worried about you, buddy. Yeah, we love you. Boy, what a fishing partner you've been all those years. Okay, I'll put you down. All right, well, here we are, the end of September. Can you believe this? The end of September, 1st of October next week. And got some pretty good reports. I know it's been cool in the Ozarks. You know, here in the Ozarks, it's been cooler and some rain and so forth. Dropped that water temperature. That's always good. Had some pretty good reports coming out at Table Rock. Good report at Stockton. Good crappie being caught out there. My goodness. Of course, Taneycomo, a few fish are being caught. Bull Shoals. Good report out at Lake the Ozarks this week. So we've got a lot to talk about. Let's go to Table Rock. Well, the water temperature has dropped. The lake's a little low, of course. But I tell you what, the spinnerbait bite has really come alive this past week. So if you're going out to Table Rock this weekend, you might want to start off with some topwater baits the first hour. Keep that topwater bait handy. And then go to a spinnerbait. Just get out about 10 feet of water. Slow roll it. Don't have to go very fast. And they've been picking up some fish, not only on spinnerbaits. Football jigs are still good. Half ounce. Black and blue. The brown, of course. Favorite trailer. And they've been picking up some fish in the same kind of a summer pattern. When the sun gets out, bite gets tough, go to the drop shot, 4-inch worm. I tell you what, a worm on that drop shot right now is good as that earth colored. You might want to check that out. Nightcrawler, earth colored worm. Plastic worm. Yeah, try that. And they've been picking up some fish. If it gets real tough at Table Rock, go to the Ned rig. That's always my ace in the hole when it gets real slow. That always catches a few fish. And they've been picking up some pretty nice bass out of Table Rock. In fact, look at my buddy Mike Boyles. Hey, here you go, Mike. Look at that great picture. Look at that great smile. And Mike's a guide out of Table Rock. I tell you what, if you ever need a guide, look up his page. He's a good guide, and he always catches fish out there. And they've been picking up a few crappie, like I've talked about the last couple of weeks here on the program, up in the Cape Fear area, James River. Some people just fishing the docks, the deep water shaded docks, especially with a little bit of brush. And other people are going out and looking and finding some brush piles and getting down into where 15, 18, 20, 22 feet of water. And may want to go with a jig head and a minnow out of Table Rock. Out of Taneycomo, due to the fact that they haven't been running too much water this week because it's been cooler. You may want, if they're not running water this weekend, just go to 2 or 4 pound test line. Get your little tiny jigs out, 32nd or 64th ounce. Brown's good, cinnamon's good, olive green's good, and pitch that out and just let it fall. Let it fall, and then just ease it back in. I tell you what, that'll catch fish this weekend, I promise you. Okay, at Bull Shoals, we've had pretty good reports out there. Some topwater action early in the morning. Buzzbait seems to be as good as anything. And go to the spinnerbaits like Table Rock. Spinnerbaits have really been catching some nice fish at Bull Shoals. Get that out there in that 10, 12 foot of water. Points, secondary points, get back in the mouth of the coves and the creeks. You don't have to go too far back. Although there's a bunch of shad starting to move back towards the creek areas. We'll be talking about this later. But anyway, spinnerbait, slow rolling. You don't have to work it too fast. So spinnerbaits have been good. And we've had some reports, of course, football jigs as well. And so Bull Shoals looks pretty good for the weekend for bass fishing. Look at that spinnerbait. And walleye. I've had good reports the last few days at Bull Shoals on walleye. They've been picking up fish on night crawlers and also trolling like your Berkeley deep diving baits and off some of the points. But night crawler's been the best overall bait. Get it down there. And the good reports up in the Oakland area. And seems like off some of the points and flats and ledges. Check this out for the upcoming weekend. Hey, if you want to go to crappie fishing this weekend, I'd recommend over all other lakes, I'd go to Stockton. Had good reports the last few days. Really some nice limits being caught out there. The boys been getting up early in the morning, dark 30, getting out there with jig and jig and minnow combinations, finding the brush piles on the edge of the flats, pitching that out, slingshotting it, letting it fall over the top of those brush piles. And boy, we've had some real good reports of crappie being caught at Stockton. I'd really recommend that for the upcoming weekend for crappie fishing. And they've been picking up some fish as well. Not only crappie, but walleye at Stockton. And the flicker minnows, troll flicker minnows out there. I like that chartreuse with that shad color, kind of a shad pattern. And flicker minnows are good. They're picking up some occasional suspended fish off some of the points and flats, and of course night crawlers off the points as well. Try in the morning hours before the sun gets way up, try maybe 12, 14 feet of water, and then go down the point as the sun gets up. That may pay off for you. At Truman, we've had mixed reports. Like I said on last week's program, mixed reports at Truman. Some people are having a hard time catching crappie. Some people are getting into them. And I've had reports of fishing the pole timber and on the flats. And it seems like you want to get in 22, 25 feet of water, and sometimes these fish may be suspended down around 10 or 12 feet of water. Other people are going to the brush piles, especially if you can find a ledge with some brush, and using jig and minnow combinations. Put some color on that jig. Chartreuse is being good this week, hot pink, orange. Tip it with a minnow, and you should catch some fish there, so crappie. So you have to search a little bit for the crappie. And they've been picking a few hybrids up. It's been a little slower this week. Not many people fishing for them, but they're still going out and catching with rod and reel, small perch, hooking that on a larger hook and getting out on the hilltops and points. And when they do catch a hybrid, really nice size. A few white bass have been surfacing out there, but not quite as good as the last couple of weeks. And the catfishing, I understand, has been real good at Truman this last few days. Might be a good bet. Shad seems to be the best overall bait. Let's go over Lake of the Ozarks. Bass fishing has really picked up out there. We've had good reports on square-bill crankbaits, plastic worms, spinner baits, some topwater action. In fact, Kurt Remus here, he was out just a few days ago, and Kurt just shows us older fellas can catch fish. Look at this beautiful bass that Kurt caught. What a nice fish. Good going, my friend. And they've been picking up some crappie at Lake of the Ozarks. Seems like the shaded docks with brush. And then you get out on the point. Some people have been trolling small, deep diving crankbaits, picking up crappie, and other people have been going to the jig and minnow combination in the brush piles. Anywhere 15, 20, even 25 feet of water. One other quick report over at Norfolk. We're still getting reports some big stripers being caught out there. And I'm not saying they're catching great numbers of stripers, but they're catching some really nice fish. And check this out on deep water spoons. And the walleye fishing has been fair out there. They've been picking up some walleye on the edge of the flat. Some people are going back into the flats, especially flats connected to some creek arms. Some limits have been caught. Nice walleye at Norfolk the last few days. And they've been picking up some white bass in the early morning hours. Watch for the topwater surfacing action. Well, that's our show for the day. Here it is, late September, next week's October, and we're going to be taking a little bit of time off, on and off. Be sure to subscribe so you'll get our notifications. We may not be here every week, but we're going to be here every 2 or 3 weeks. And if anything breaks, really crazy fishing, we'll be here every week, of course. We'll get a little break, and be sure to check us, though. Be sure to subscribe so you'll get our notifications. And we want you to like and share today's program. And subscribe, like I mentioned, very important. And then, of course, if you'd like to send us any photos or information, just go to our email. Email us at fishingchums@gmail.com. I want to thank you very much for being with us today. Looks like we're going to have some fishing this weekend. And we'll be back here in the near future with Fishing Chums Fishing Report. This is Gary Heidrich. God bless you all. Go out and get bit this weekend.